What's up, guys? Bob Buzzkirk here again at ThinkComputers, and today we're taking a look at another motherboard from ASRock, and it sits on their very high end. This is the X79 Extreme11, and I would have to say the biggest feature of this board is it features two PLX chips, giving you 72 PCI Express lanes. So this is going to be a board for a workstation or very high-end gaming. So you're going to fit a lot of video cards in here. So let's just go ahead, open it up, and check out what's inside. Alright, so taking a look at the box, compared to a lot of other motherboard boxes, that actually is pretty plain on the front. It does say X79 Extreme11, obviously. And ASRock is really promoting their 555 XFast, which is their XFast LAN, their XFast USB, and their XFast RAM. Of course, you have all your certifications and all the fun stuff right here. If we move it over to the back, here's where they go into all of their different features. Many of their main features of this board are listed on the back, and of course, we're going to get into everything on here in the actual review. And one other fun thing about the packaging of this is that it actually opens up just like that. So you have more features on this side, and this side is open so you can actually take a good look at the board. Getting inside is pretty easy. You just open it just like this and everything should come out, and you should have two boxes. One, of course, with the motherboard and one with your accessories. So I'm going to put it down like this, and we'll pull out the motherboard, and of course we're going to take a look at that second, but we will take a look at our accessories as well. So we get all this stuff out of the way, and we have our accessories box right here. And we open this side first, I guess, and we'll go into stuff. So we have a three-way SLI bridge. We have 1, 2, 3 bags of SATA cables. We have our I/O shield, and it's nicely labeled. You guys can see that. Nicely labeled. We have, what is this? A single SLI bridge, and this looks like another SLI 3S bridge right here. They're all wrapped in anti-static bags, and another, of course, SLI bridge. You have two Molex to SATA power connectors, and you have a looks like a little I/O shield, or whatever you want to call it, for USB connections. Looks like USB 3.0 connections. On this side, you have a USB 3.0 3.5-inch external bay, and this cover right here is if you want to put this on the back instead of the front, so you can take it out of this enclosure that it comes in, and you can put it on the back of your PC if you like. We have our little overview here, which goes into specifications on the actual board itself. We have a very large quick installation guide and manual, and of course inside of there you do have your drivers and software CD. And it looks like this goes over the 555 XFast stuff. Again, we'll get into all that in the review. And finally, you have your software setup guide. Taking a first look at the board here, you can see that ASRock has gone with the same black and silver design that we saw on the Extreme 6. Some of the main things to point out, you have two very large heat sinks here, and this bottom one on the PCH does have a nice little cooling fan right there. This one up here does say X79, and they're both connected by a very large heat pipe right here. Taking a look at the top of the board, I wanted to mention just a few things. You have your CPU fan connector and an optional fan connector right here. The CPU fan connector is a 4-pin, and this one is a 3-pin. You also have another 3-pin right here, and you have your two 8-pin power connectors right there. And I am just a little bit worried because they are behind this large heatsink right here, so they may be a little bit hard to get to once you have this board installed inside of your case. Under the large heatsink right here, you do have your power delivery components. This board features a 26-phase design. That's 22 phases for the CPU, 2 for the memory, and 2 for the PCI and DMI interfaces. Around the CPU socket, you do have 4 memory slots on each side. They are not color-coded, which again, I do not like. I like to see where I'm supposed to be putting my memory. This board supports up to 64 gigabytes of memory and of course, quad channel and dual quad channel modes. Moving along to the side of the board, you have your 24-pin ATX power connector. You have 2 internal USB 3.0 headers, and again, you have another small 3-pin fan connector. As far as SATA connections go, you have quite a few. You have 14 total. These 6 right here are controlled by Intel's X79 chipset, and the top 2 are SATA 6 gig, and these bottom 4 are SATA 3 gig. The last 8 right here are controlled by the LSI chip, and they are all SATA 6 gig. Moving along to the bottom of the motherboard, you have 3 USB 2.0 headers, and you have a 3-pin fan connector right here. Above that, you have your power and reset buttons. I always like to see those on motherboards. It just makes things so much easier. You have a debug LED right there. Again, I like to see that on motherboards. You have all of your front panel connections right here. You have a Molex connection right here for your PCI Express slots. I do not like the orientation of it just because it's coming out of the bottom of the motherboard, and if you have your power supply right here, it just may get in the way. I just don't like that design of it. You have your FireWire connection, and way at the end you have HD audio. As far as expansion slots go, on this board you have quite a few. You have 7 PCI Express 3.0 X16 slots, and the way they work is slots 1, 3, 5, and 7 will always run at 16x, and everything else will run at 8x. Now, if you have 4 or more cards installed, everything except for the top one will run at 8x, and your top slot will run at 16x. Of course, this board supports both SLI and Crossfire setups. As far as connections go, on the back of the motherboard, you have 2 USB 2.0 ports, your legacy PS2 port. You do have a clear CMOS button, which I always like to see. You have 2, 4, 6 more USB 2.0 ports. You have 2 Ethernet ports right here. You have FireWire right in the middle. You have 2, 4 USB 3.0 ports, 2 eSATA ports, and of course your audio. So this wraps it up for our unboxing and overview video of the ASRock X79 Extreme11 motherboard. Make sure you check back very soon on ThinkComputers.org for the full written review. And remember, if you like our unboxing videos, why don't you subscribe? Catch you guys later.